COP28 President Sultan is urging nations to step out of their comfort zones and, quote, get the job done, as he pushes delegates to strike a climate deal before the summit ends early next week.
I believe this spirit of unity and solidarity will get us over the line. Let this COP be remembered as the collective COP, a COP that changed the game, a COP that did transform how COPs are conducted. Let's please get this job done.
Still unresolved is the issue of fossil fuels. Negotiators are divided over a phase out or a phase down. President El-Jubeir has set the goal of reaching an agreement in the final draft before the last session ends on Tuesday. This leaves countries only 4 days to smooth out any disagreements, although previous UN climate talks have not been known to end on time. More CNA's Jack Paul joins us live from Dubai. Jack, break down the issues negotiators are having around fossil fuels. Why is it so difficult to form any draft deal?
That's right, Wei Su. It's almost the same as every year when COP rolls around. We have this divisive and contentious negotiating over the phrasing of the final text that will set the direction of global climate change action for the next year. Now, we're not even talking here about big philosophies or climate ideas. What negotiators are doing are literally going through word by word and negotiating every single nuance of this text. All of that matters. When the final text is delivered, what countries can get out of these small words means so much to the actions that they may be obligated to take over the next year. And this time, it's all around fossil fuels, as it has been before. We just heard from the UAE COP President Sultan Al-Jaber saying, he hopes everyone's had enough rest. We had a break day here at COP yesterday, and there will be momentous days ahead. He's been under a lot of pressure, despite progress that has been delivered over the past few days at the start of COP, but facing a lot of scrutiny from all directions at the moment. Now, the fossil fuel negotiations, they will be difficult. Countries like Saudi Arabia and China have stood out already in the past few days as the countries that are likely to be the sticking points in getting an agreement. But in the draft that was released a few days ago, we have 3 options. Let me run you through what those options are, and I'll have to warn you that the definitions are fluid. They are subjective depending on who you ask. The first is this idea of an orderly and just exit from hydrocarbons. They are the fossil fuels that power from oil, gas, coal. Many countries want them to be stopped altogether, and eventually we will have a net zero situation. That's the most ambitious draft that's left around fossil fuels. Secondly, we have this idea of unabated fossil fuels. That is basically any carbon emissions that cannot be captured by new technologies. I'd say that's the most likely agreement that will stay in the text at this point, but a lot of division around that as well. The third option, which I think is the least likely and would be disastrous for the UAE presidency, is to simply do nothing on fossil fuels. They will be hoping that's not the case, but we have a few more days for all of this to be thrashed out. Ministers are, of course, here getting their hands dirty, so hopefully getting closer to an agreement before COP is meant to finish.
Now, Jack, of course, disagreement over what to do with fossil fuels. We've seen that since COP21 in 1995. But more immediate issue in this final deal is who will host COP29. There are difficulties there as well. Although in the last few hours there have been reports of at least one name emerging as a potential candidate.
Yeah, finally, it looks like there will be some breakthrough on who hosts COP29. There has been an unprecedented delay on deciding who will be the next host. And it's not just about the location, it's about the presidency. Whoever is the host of COP sets the agenda. They really drive climate action for the year in which they are the president. So it really does matter who's in charge. Now, it's meant to be rotated, and Eastern Europe is the next in line to host COP. Now, due to what's been happening in Ukraine and Russia is part of this Eastern European bloc, deciding who will host the next edition of these climate talks has been delayed. Azerbaijan has now emerged as the most likely host. They have been able to settle some long-standing geopolitical disputes with Armenia, at least over this issue. Russia appears to be supporting Azerbaijan, so we have to see whether all countries can agree. Of course, this will raise a whole range of problems and criticisms. Azerbaijan is another oil and natural gas producing country. 95% of the country's exports are oil and natural gas, so having another host really deeply embedded within fossil fuel space will be another difficult thing for climate negotiators to overcome.
Well, thanks. That's CNA's Jack Ball reporting live from Dubai.